Hello, hello.
Hello.
Yeah,
Thank you
man.
again for doing this. I really
You're
appreciate it.
welcome. It's my pleasure.
Welcome to Lil Talk with LilJoey, and we have a very special guest, our second female influencer boxer here, or crossover boxer, whatever you want to call it, Loza Lauren Baker. How are you doing?
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great, thanks. How are you doing?
Good, good. And yeah,
You're
it's
good?
great to have
Lovely.
you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So first off, I want to ask, where did the nickname Loza come from?
Honestly, yeah, I might as well change it to my gov name because more people call me Loza than they do my real name. Like it shocks me when I hear somebody refer to me as Lauren. That's how deep it got. I used to play football. I was a sporty girl, so I was always going to get given a nickname, and there we are. And Lauren's quite a common name, so we had to differentiate.
No, I think it's good, especially in this scene. You're gonna want a name that sticks out. So I think it's good.
We'll take it. It could be worse, eh? It could be worse.
Yeah, I mean, talk to me about boxing. I mean, have how long have you been training?
I've been training with my current coach since about July, I want to say, question mark. And we started from the bottom. I did a little white collar fight, charity fight last year in March, but that was 8 weeks of training. And if anybody knows anything about ultra white collar boxing, you don't really learn how to box. So I didn't really count. Honestly, all we were doing was burpees all session, and I'm not joking. For 8 weeks. It was torture. So I don't really count that. We still got in there and got the win, but regardless, yeah, I've been training since about July with my new coach Luke Groves. So yeah,
Nice. Yeah, and has boxing or combat sports always been an interest of yours, or has it kind of been a newer thing?
I grew up playing football, did really well in football, academy football, played internationally. But my mum and dad are both martial artists. So my mum did judo, my dad did karate at a very high level, represented this country. So it's always been there. But I tried judo for a bit when I was playing football just to get used to, people in my personal space. Hated it. Absolutely. I'm not trying to have some next sweaty guy onto me, but anyway, um, yeah, like it was never really an interest to actually do it until kind of last yearish, to be fair.
Okay, all right, yeah, and obviously the crossover boxing scene is growing immensely especially since the first Misfits. Has crossover boxing always been an interest of yours, like watching it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been trying to do content for a while. Obviously before the crossover stuff came in. Obviously, where I was doing my football, it just makes sense to do football content because it always does well. I'm involved in a lot of different things. Like I make content for a company called Club App. Um, I present for company. Like I've always been in and around the content. So the thought of it like kind of mixing together, I was like, yeah, I'm about this. I could definitely tune into this, and I love it. I'm involved.
I love it too. It's weird it's hard to find creators in this space that aren't doing exclusively just boxing, so it's cool to
Mhm.
see that. And was football? I was about to call it soccer, but I'm gonna call it football here.
Oh, you can represent, man. Represent. I'm not going to say anything. Okay.
But so you did that for since you were little?
Literally since about age 11. So yeah, it was quite a long time, quite a long shift to be fair.
Was it a weird transition going in from football to boxing?
To be honest, not really. I was kind of always a hard worker on the pitch. I was aggressive. I was a holding midfielder. If you know, you know. Need I say any more? I was slide tackling. I was putting my body on the line. So getting into boxing, it wasn't that difficult in that
Yeah.
sense because I'm not, I'll get involved, mate. I'll put me in the mixer. I'm there.
I love it. I love it. I mean, it's cool because you know the crossover boxing space has so dominantly been men, and ever since Misfits came out, it's kind of just been growing the scene for the women's divisions. So how does it feel that you're a part of an ever growing community like that?
Well, yeah, obviously it'd be great to get the opportunity to jump on a card for sure. I feel like I bring something completely different too, but to be a part of it is sick. Like I think it's inspiring the next wave of people to get involved in, boxing and fitness and sport in general. So to be involved in anything like that, it's a really positive impact to have on, the next generation coming through for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to ask you, so obviously you've had your videos with Idris Virgo and then with Ashley Rak-Su. You've also
Mhm.
had you know, you did the podcast with Most Wanted and Idris Virgo and Ibby Virgo. So, you
Yeah.
know, you've had multiple interactions with Misfits fighters. So how did those connections kind of come about?
So the gym I'm in, Ashley and Miles train there. And we have a couple fighters hopefully to be released as well in the gym. So I'm in like a little family gym there with people who understand the process, which is really beneficial. That's why me and my coach clicked straight away because he understood what direction I wanted to go in. Idris. So basically, I knew Idris's younger brother, Ibby, and obviously we started doing the podcast. Idris came on a few episodes. I've known Most Wanted for a while. So yeah, it's just kind of been just not luck, but it's just been such a whirlwind, and I've just made good connections. And basically, yeah, that's how we do it. Because obviously, I started doing interviews. I started at Kingpin doing interviews, so I got to know some of the fighters and kind of that way, and then you just build your rapport with them, and then you come.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder because I've talked to a few people that have been able to go to, you know, the Kingpin event, the Showstar events, like all these different kind of creator events. Have you have you found yourself ever getting starstruck with any of these creators, or has it been easy to kind of talk to them?
Nah, not really, because obviously being in the football game for a while, I was pushed up to first team training since age 16. So I was used to coming face to face with people that I've been watching, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think, especially as an interviewer, just to get chucked in there, like you have to have an element of like composure and like this is just another human. That's how they wanted to. That's how they want to be treated as well. It's just kind of having that mentality and like just try and learn off of these people as much as you can. And I think I've done pretty well to kind of build myself kind of based off of that. So yeah, no, I don't think I've ever really been starstruck in that sense.
Like I've talked to a few people that have been able to do that, and you know, some of them are like, "Oh yeah, I've been able to talk to other fighters like so easily," and then the one fighter comes up, and I'm like completely like I lose my mind. So
Hmm.
it's just interesting to see that. But I wanted to shift over to you know, your upcoming fight. So
Come on
uh,
now.
yeah, so how did that come about, and did you know anything about your opponent before, you know, getting into like contracts or anything?
Joey, we still don't know much about my opponent, but I'll get onto that in a second. Basically now, so we obviously we're looking to get the opportunity on a bigger stage, but this came about. We saw they were looking for fighters, chatted to my coach. Lucky I knew a few people involved in the event as well. And yeah, it's a good opportunity, good stage. It's at the O2, a good stage in this country for sure. And yeah, 10-ounce gloves, no headgear. You don't really get that opportunity on a lot of things that you might just sign up for just off the
Oh,
books. Do you know what I mean?
absolutely,
So
yeah.
we thought absolutely it's really good for ring experience because I still actually haven't had a proper fight. So we thought, yeah, man. And she basically, I first saw her face on the announcement poster. So yeah, we can't get hold of any Instagrams, any Facebooks, any social media. So if you're watching this right now and you're a guru at this type of thing, please, her name is Maria Hernandez Garcia. We know the only thing we know about her is she's 38, so she's nearly double my age. She's Mexican and she's 5'7". So it's a scrap. Which is what we wanted. Like that is what I want. Like I want a tough fight. I want to go through it. Um but yeah, obviously not knowing a lot about her, not having any footage, not having even picture, apart from the flipping announcement poster. It's been interesting, but it's kind of good. I've kind of, in my head, I'm like, okay, then just focus on yourself then. Because, you know, there was things that I still needed to get my head straight on and stuff. So I've just kind of looked at this camp as like, we're getting myself ready. This is my journey. Like I'm very much like this, like, and she's just the thing at the end of the tunnel. So that's all I can say, really.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, I can't imagine how frustrating that can be, not knowing
Mhm.
like anything about your
Yeah,
opponent.
man. Not knowing anything. So we've had to kind of predict what style she's going to come out with, but I'm prepared for anything. But to be honest, if anybody knows me, if anybody sparred me, it's going to be a scrap. Um,
No, I love it. I
If
love
she's
it.
orthodox, southpaw, whatever, like we're here to put on a show. I will drop a little teaser. My ring walk's going to be quite cool. So if anybody's watching that, get your phones out, get your cameras ready, because that's going to be a little moment. But yeah, we're just trying to do what we can with what we've got.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And I do want to ask, is there like an end goal that you have with, the boxing?
I think it would be good. Like I was kind of sitting more deeply, especially into my next fight, is just to kind of I went through quite, let's say, a traumatic experience in football, and I'd really like to kind of help people who kind of went through a similar thing to me to know that they can speak out about things without it affecting them, kind of thing. So I think a really good end goal for me, like get on the biggest platform I can, because I'm a talented athlete also, and I'm young. So if I can express that through boxing, then brilliant. If I can create content, which I love doing, fantastic. Surround myself with great people around me, and if I can help somebody who was in my shoes a couple years ago earlier than I helped myself, then I'd like that would be really satisfying for me, I think.
It's cool to see like how many fighters are being, inspiring so many people, and I think it's good to have, um, you know, the women's division. I think is, and I was watching your most recent podcast, and you talked a little bit about, you know, women in the crossover scene being predominantly, a part of OnlyFans and stuff like that. So, I think it's cool that there's, an inspiring kind of aesthetic to that, like not really just an aesthetic, but just a
Yeah,
goal
just
to
a bit of
that.
variety. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
bit of variety. Like if I obviously get in there, they've not had a footballer full stop on any of these cards. They've not had somebody like me yet. Maybe the closest they've got is Jillian Vampira, who's just going to go in there and throw bombs with intention. Elle Brooks up there as well. So yeah, and obviously I come in at a heavier weight. That opens up hopefully new weight categories if we can get involved. So yeah, I can see it all being positive, to be fair. And yeah, man.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Screw
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think it's awesome because, obviously I want the scene to grow, and I know everybody, that watches and is, a part of the scene wants it to grow. It's fun to watch the women's division because you can tell how much how hard they work to get to that point. So
100%.
yeah, so have you ever found it like harder, as a woman to get into this kind of industry?
I don't think I found it as hard as like the average woman would, because obviously growing up being the football girl, I've always been surrounded. Like every industry I've gone into has pretty much been male dominated. So I don't really find that a difficult task to maneuver. Do you know what I mean? Like I'll happily
Yeah.
surround myself with a bunch of guys because that's just what I'm used to. Um, but obviously now there is difficulties. There's a bit more detailing because obviously we might go through different things to men, especially in camp. There's a few different things you got to take into account. Weight cuts. Sorry, my dog's just on one. Weight
No,
cuts,
sorry.
etc. So yeah, no, it's not been too difficult for me because I have been in predominantly male kind of situations.
Yeah, yeah. I
That
mean, I guess that
makes me
works
seem
to your
quite judgy,
benefit.
but
Yeah, for
yeah.
obviously I don't want to keep most of your time, but I do want to ask you one more question. Um, if you have a
Yeah,
final
madman.
message to your opponent, what is your message?
Listen, yeah, obviously there's no beef between me and Maria, so respect is going to be there. But honestly, good luck. Because you're going to be dealing with a hangry Jamaican, okay? And we all know what that could probably lead to. So good luck, my friend.
I love it. I love it. Loza,
Oh,
Lauren Baker, thank you so much for coming onto the show. I really
you're
appreciate it.
welcome. Thanks for having
And
me.
I'm excited for your fight. Guys, I'm gonna link down into the description all of her socials and the link
Oh,
to watch the fight. So don't forget to watch it.
big Friday night.
Big
Come on
Friday
now.
night, February 9th, 2024. Watch
Yes,
it.
sir.
It's gonna be awesome. Thank you so
I
much.
appreciate you.